Right, welcome back, art class members. So if you're feeling like this video is going on a while, it probably is, because it's actually 2 days later now. The lights changed because it's during the day rather than the evening. This section of the painting's dried, so it's dried a bit lighter, as we know with watercolour. And I did just have a little bit of a play with some lifting out techniques across here, which are off camera, which I quite liked, so I'm going to show you a bit more of those. What I've done while I've been away is just observing, so I quite often tell you just to sort of put something on to one side, maybe on the sideboard or something, and just have a quick look at it every time you go past, and see what else it needs. And I feel like it needed a bit more definition, so the plan is for the last bits of detail here, I'm going to try and emphasize a bit more of these shapes going down into the distance, so that it's not all of this just sort of blurred paint here. We've got some more lines going down, and maybe just define a few more of the windows in the buildings, and a bit more spattering at the end, so a bit more of the white spattering, which I feel like has just been lost a little bit when it's dried off. So if I just show you a little bit with a flat brush, a lifting out technique. So this is quite useful if you're wanting to try and get the suggestion of some lines coming through. So it's going to shift the paint a little bit, as you can see, and you're getting a little bit of a hard edge there, which works quite well, which is what I've done here off camera. And it helps to sort of get those perspective lines coming through the painting, so I thought that worked quite well. So we'll do a bit more of those and a bit more over here. So I'm going to try and pull it in to this section here. So you're just sort of lifting out the paint that's already there, but it just creates these marks. You can see these sort of yellow marks coming across here, but I'm going to go this sort of angle. I'm going to try and follow this angle here, just adjust that one slightly, and then try and make it like that. So it's just that suggestion of the line, but it just helps to give those perspective lines going into the distance, isn't it? And then across here. I wanted to do a real-time video for my first one and just try out, you know, actually, rather than trying to speed it up and then do a voiceover separately. I thought I'll just do it real time, see how I get on with that. It's ended up being longer than I anticipated, so apologies for that. You can of course speed it up a little bit, or just, you know, crop through to the sections that you're interested in watching. So just remember, when you're doing this lifting out as well, there's always colours that stain more than others, so some colours will lift out well, some colours won't, and it also depends on how long the paint's been on the paper as well. So when I did these bits of lifting out the other day, it was sort of the next morning after I'd filmed that part of the video, so actually the paint was still moving quite well. What I'm finding now is that it's not moving quite as much, but we're still getting a little bit of lift out, which is quite good. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now is go back with the card again. Just going to clean this off a little bit. I didn't realise when I watched this video back either that you can see me in this card's mirrored, and from where I'm sitting, I didn't realise that you were getting a reflection in the camera of me. So it is a real person here painting. Right, so I think I'm going to try and get a little bit more of these sort of orangey colours in with the quinacridone gold. You could use an ochre, maybe mixed with a cadmium red there or something. Right, I'm going to try and get some of these lines just coming into the distance here. And of course, because I've wet it a little bit, I'm going to get some of those areas blurring, which is quite nice. I don't want that whole area to cover this section here, so I'm just going to wipe the paint off a little bit. Just get a little suggestion of it. Got these lovely bright colours coming through over here. Yeah, that's lifted it a bit, and I think it's sort of balanced the colours out a little bit more. Okay, then with a small, I'm going to try this blending tool that I used before, just to try and get some sort of marks that are similar to the card scraping technique. So we're not going to see sort of brush marks. You're going to get the sort of that idea of the scraping effect, which I quite like. So there's a sign here, isn't there? It doesn't hold very much paint, but you get a little bit to work with. I think what I'm going to try and do is spatter a bit of this orange into this section here to get those bright areas. And over here, that might be quite nice as well. Okay, and I'm going to do a similar thing with, maybe with a pink actually, over here to get some of these, suggestion of some of those window shapes there. So just thinking about that vanishing point that we've got in the distance here. So roughly show the shape of your windows. Your verticals are always vertical, but then the horizontals are going to be slightly. You can see the angle at the top of that building compared to the angle at the bottom. So the lines at the bottom of the windows, of these windows, are going to be quite horizontal, whereas they're more angled as we go higher up. Got some quite intense pink colours in between these sections here, haven't we? So although it feels like quite a long video, if you remember, this is real-time painting, so it's going to have taken me about an hour to do this painting. So if you follow it step by step, it's similar to something that we do in class perhaps. Soften those lines a little bit, and of course you can just keep pausing it as and when, can't you? Okay, I'm sort of happy with the suggestiveness of that now, so I'm going to just get my palette knife I've mixed up, just added a little bit of water into the gouache, so it's quite a thick consistency. So I'm just going to have a go doing a bit of spattering again. So I'm sort of holding the palette knife here and then spattering with this hand. I'm just going to step back, check I'm happy, and then I think I'm done. What I'm going to try and do is do some quicker, shorter videos as well, because this one I know has been quite involved with some new techniques that we haven't done before. So I'm going to try and upload some sort of quicker demonstrations to try out and see what you think of those as well.